What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another totally unnecessary Book of Boba Fett recap and review. This week we cover Chapter 4, The Gathering Storm. We start today in the good old back to tank, which immediately means flashback time. God, I'm sick of the tank. Heal already. Heal. Nomad Fett is surveying Jabba's palace. He knows his Slave 1 is in there and he wants it back. Of course, he's severely outnumbered and retreats back into the desert with his bantha Bessie for now. While chilling down for the night, in the distance something gets his attention. While he was secretly hoping it was a fireworks show, it's actually Din Djarin and Toro Calican charging Fennec Shand and using flares to blind her. You might remember that from Mandalorian Season 1. We get another shot from Mandalorian Season 1 as well, as Boba walks up to Fennec's near-lifeless body. Boba takes Fennec to a mod shop on the outskirts of town and gets her fixed up. We get to see more of the Back to the Future gang, and the dude that helps Fennec looks pretty cool. He's got a weird like, I don't know, claw hand with several doodads and gadgets. Does the job, right? It's kind of corny, only mildly plausible, but hey, it explains how she survived. I'm starting to think the Vespa Gang episode was introduced solely as a way to make this scene look not totally crazy. I mean, it still looks kind of crazy and out of place, but not nearly as bad as if we didn't get episode 3. Fennec wakes up and Boba tells her he's Boba Fett. Fennec is like, no way, but Boba's like, yeah, way. And also, hey, guess what? You owe me for saving you. But hey, here's the cool thing. I just want my ship back. Then you can do whatever you want. I release you from my bond. Now this is the part that people are a little up in arms about, as Boba says he wants his Fire Spray class gunship back. Of course, in this context, it makes sense. If he had told Fennec, hey, I want you to help me get my Slave 1 back, she'd probably be like, who's that? You have slaves? Where's your second slave? Etc. So this makes sense. In my mind, though, it's still Slave 1, spoken or not. Back at Bibs, Fennec puts up a cool little drone into the air to scout the place. It goes through, and guess what we find out? It doesn't look good. Boba is now only slightly less outnumbered than he was before. They still decide to go on with the assault. They sneak inside, and we see our favorite droid from Return of the Jedi, EV-99. He even still sounds like him as well. This is just one of those cool little fan callbacks that I absolutely love. He's on kitchen duty with a COO cook droid, first seen in the diner in the Attack of the Clones. You remember that diner, right? Yeah, with a little four-armed alien. It looked like a diner straight out of the 50s. Anyhow, the cook decides to go all General Grievous on Boba Fett, but Fennec puts an end to that really quick, as she usually does. The Lep droid first seen in the Clone Wars series shows up to catch some rats, and after a Ratatouille chase scene, Boba scares him into submission. Now it's time to get Slave 1 back. Boba and Fennec find it. Of course, only to be attacked shortly thereafter. It's a pain in the ass for Boba to get his ship out of the tiny hangar, but Fennec does what Fennec does, and she massacres Bib's forces while Boba keeps it steady. Well, not really steady. He does a lot of damage to the palace, and it's funny because he's going to have to clean that up when he moves back in, but minor details, right? They escape and Boba decides to go all Taken at this point. He's got scores to settle, and this is what we've been waiting for. We want him to settle scores. This is Boba at his Boba best. Also, Boba's like, hey, Fennec, I release you from my service. But Fennec's like, hey, you had me at Massacre. And she decides to stick around and be Boba's lieutenant. In one of the most Boba Fett-esque moments in the entire series, he mercilessly guns down the Kintan Striders that massacred his Tusken tribe. How cool. It's glorious, as is Fett's lack of emotion doing it. This is what we've wanted in Fett the entire series, and it was such a pleasure to watch. Next, it's time to go for his armor. More cool shots of Boba hovering over the Sarlaac. It's still alive, and all of a sudden in a awesome jump scene, decides to grab the Slave 1 and pull it in. Fennec manages to jump up and press a button. Don't press Boba's buttons, by the way. Seriously. And out pops the coolest weapon in all of Star Wars. Seismic Charge. I can hear it in my mind right now. This finally kills off Boba's old nemesis, and I could not have thought of a better way to do it. So I'm kind of happy with this payoff right here. Fennec says, hey, Boba, your armor's gone, but Boba says, no, man, it's Beskar. It's like totally still there. And now we have clarification that Boba and Jango's armor was indeed Beskar and not Durasteel. Of course, this presents more questions, though. Later on, Boba outlines his plan and then pledges also to protect Fennec with his life. Aw, loyalty. She digs it, and now we have one of the coolest duos in the entire galaxy. Boba awakes, and yay! Congrats, Lord Fett, you are completely healed. Your flashbacks are over. Finnick comes up and says the Major Domo that's in the basement has sung like a yuzum, whatever that is. Still, the mayor's nowhere around, but Boba decides he needs to get out and about, so we head to our favorite pleasure palace. BK is there, and he's running up a tab and eyeballing some Trandoshans. It's not the type of look you want from a Wookiee gladiator. He rages and goes on to beat the crap out of the Trandoshans, and he's about to pull a classic Wookiee move when out comes... wow. Everyone's new favorite character, Garsa Fwip, in a very, very nice outfit. She's all like, hey BK, this is beneath you. You were awesome in the day, but violence isn't cool anymore. I'll get rid of your tab if you just put the lizard man down. BK's got no chill though, and he pulls the Wookiee move, ripping off one of the Trandoshan's arms. This is oddly satisfying. And BK is becoming one of the coolest additions to the entire series. Outside Fwip's palace, Boba catches up to the Wookiee and offers him a job. Yay, he's sticking around! Back at the palace, Godfather Fett invites the major families of Tatooine over for dinner and offers mutual cooperation. He says, we can all get rich if you listen to me. Also, the Pikes suck. This gets a rebuttal, of course, and the why don't we just kill you line we saw in the previews. Well, because I've got a Rancor. Come at me, brah. Yeah, that actually happened, and it kind of seemed to settle the issue. Boba then says, hey, you don't have to fight with me. Just don't fight with the Pikes. And everyone was cool with that. Finnick, of course, being the voice of reason and the untrusting type, says, can you trust them? No, but they'll do what's best for them. So does aligning with the Pikes or does aligning with Boba work best for these people? I guess we'll find out. Overall, this was the best episode of the entire season and marks a turning point. Had it not been for this episode, I would have written the entire series off as mediocre at best. But this episode has given me hope, and some glimpses of the Boba I was hoping for all along. All the inconsistencies with the show I now account to the direction. The two best episodes of the season were not directed by Robert Rodriguez. He directed 1 and 3. 3 was by far the worst we've had. I just don't think he's the man for the job, but hey, that's me. I also like that they finally clarified about the armor being Beskar. But how did it get so many dents in it then? I mean, we know Beskar is not completely damage-proof. Even Din Djarin said his Beskar held after getting hit by Finnick's sniper bolt, implying that a strong enough bolt close enough could damage it. But Boba's got a lot of damage. Then again, where did the damage go? Did he have the armor reforged? If so, why did he keep the dent in the helmet when he did that? So many questions. Overall, Boba seemed a lot more like Boba in this episode, or at least closer to the Mandalorian version of Boba. It was nice. And I'm really hoping we get more of the cold killer in future episodes. In all, episode 4 was a start, and I am really, really happy that we got this episode. Overall, the highlight of the season so far, and it really does give me hope for the next and final 3 episodes of the season. I want to know your take. I want to know what you thought. Put it in the comments of this video. Be sure to like. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't done so already. And thank you all. Have a great day.